Hey everybody, I'm Rick Beato. You hear me talking about Apple computers, but I'm here to actually answer the question, what kind of computer should you buy for doing music? I'm talking music production, I'm talking about if you're a film scorer, whatever your needs are, we're going to answer these questions coming up next. Okay, I'm here with Aaron Shaw, who's been working with me for the last 5 months. You haven't seen Aaron that much lately because he's working on his own music teaching platform called Flat 5. These are going to be debuting soon that I'm going to be a part of, launching some of my teaching videos on. Aaron is an expert in computers, even though he says he isn't, but he knows how to put them together and he knows how to program them. So we're going to talk to him about what you really need to have for a music computer. Okay, let's start with RAM.
Sure. So with RAM, a lot of computers come with either 4 gigabyte, 8 gigabytes, but what you really need a minimum is 16 gigs of RAM.
Okay.
For all kinds of music applications, things like track counts, plugin counts, you just need a lot of speed. You need a lot of memory, and as much as you can afford, the more the better.
Okay, let's talk about processor speed.
Sure. So with you need a fast processor for this stuff too. Say 3 gigahertz and above is what you need for most music applications.
Okay, and it goes up to how high?
It goes up to, 4.6. The other thing to consider is how many cores. I would start at 4 cores, but today you have 6 cores, 8 cores, or even 12 core processor.
Okay, let's talk about hard drives. Now, what's the advantage of having a solid state over just a regular mechanical spinning hard drive?
Well, anyone that's ever tried a solid state knows the difference. Plugins load much faster, programs load much faster, makes your workflow a lot better, a lot faster.
I've noticed a massive difference when I first went to a solid state drive a few years ago on my old Mac computer in my control room. Instantly noticed the difference going to a solid state drive, but they are still much more expensive.
Sure.
And next, graphics card. What can you tell me about that?
A lot of computers that are sold today, either they come with a graphics card and others don't. You want to make sure you get one with a graphics card if you're planning on doing photo editing, if you're doing video editing, or if you're doing anything film scoring related. So make sure it has a graphics card, 2 gigabytes and up, you should be good.
Okay, so what's the last thing? What about the ports? When I went to the Apple store the other day, I noticed that the new computers have the USB-C ports on them, and the only computer that Apple makes right now that has the USB ports out of their laptops is their cheapest one, which is the MacBook Air that had 2 USB ports, but none of the other Mac laptops had USB ports.
Right. It's not just Mac. Unfortunately, laptops these days only come with 1 or 2 USB ports. So if you're working from a laptop, you want to get a USB hub with more ports. But the advantage of actually building your own computer is that you can, buy a motherboard with 4 ports, 6 ports, or even 8 ports on it. And that's really what you want if you work with a lot of files, if you have to transfer a lot of stuff. Even though there's the cloud, in my opinion, backing things up on a hard drive is still the best way.
So after a lot of deliberation, whether I should get another Apple or a PC, Aaron convinced me to build one from scratch. So here's what we built. What are you doing back there, dude?
Oh, sorry.
This is what we built. Aaron helped me build it. Actually, I bought the parts and Aaron built it. This is my Hackintosh. It's running the Mac OS on a PC. So let's see what's inside. Go through how many different parts are in this computer.
So the parts that we had to buy were this housing, the power supply, the graphics card, the heatsink, the processor, the RAM, the motherboard, and this hard drive.
That is 8 parts. Okay, I wanted a lot of connectors with the computer, a lot of places to plug in my USB devices, hard drives, and I also have a FireWire port on here because I have some FireWire drives that run off a FireWire 800. Let's take a look at the ports that we have. Okay, Aaron, so what do we have right here? What ports?
So the motherboard comes with an HDMI connector, some serial connectors for an old mouse or an old keyboard, 4 USB 3.0 connectors, 2 USB 2.0, an Ethernet, and your standard audio connectors.
Okay, what do we have down here?
So this is your graphics card. So we have an HDMI as well as a display port connector for 2 different displays.
And this also has a
A DVI.
A DVI, okay.
Down here we have installed a PCI FireWire card for FireWire 800 and FireWire 400.
And that's for some of the old drives I've had that actually run with the FireWire 400 and 800. Okay, on the top of the enclosure, we have two USB 3 ports, and we have a headphone port and a mic input that really aren't going to use. Okay, here's the parts that you need to build a Hackintosh or even build your own PC. Essentially, you need really 8 parts, maybe even 7. The motherboard, the processor, heat sink, which goes on the processor, the enclosure that it goes in, the power supply, your RAM, your graphics card, like I said, is optional, a hard drive. Also, you need a monitor, that's not optional. And the camera is optional. I connected the computer using an Ethernet cable that's built in on the motherboard, so I didn't need to have any Wi-Fi installed in it. Just to get a little bit more specific on this, the RAM I have is 64 gigs. The hard drive is 1 terabyte. The processor speed is a 4.2 gigahertz i7 processor. And I have 4 gigs on my graphics card. I just put together an iMac on the Apple website with the exact same specifications of the computer we built. Got the 4.2 gigahertz quad core, 7th generation i7 processor, 64 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte solid state drive, and if you look at the price, $4,499. That's $4,500. So I saved right there $3,500. I did my best finding a computer that is similar to mine. It's not exactly the same. This one has only a 3.7 gigahertz processor, so it's a little bit slower, but everything else is pretty much identical. Look at the price difference, $3,022. So that's a price difference of $2,000. So as I said, I spent about $1,000 building my computer. The RAM I got used, you can find it on eBay for $300, 64 gigs of RAM. I got a great deal on the 1 terabyte hard drive, solid state hard drive for $279, and then I got a great deal on the i7 processor, which was on sale for $279. But that's pretty much the whole computer. Also, to put it together, it takes no more than probably about 45 minutes to actually snap the pieces in. That's how it goes together. A couple things you have to screw down, but anyone can build these things. Take another hour, find the drivers. There are sites on the web where you can find where to find the drivers for building a Hackintosh. I'd love to hear from you that have built your own systems, what you've built, and how much you spent on it. Also, remember, subscribe here to my Everything Music YouTube channel. Hit the notification buttons to let you know when I'm going live. And if you're interested in the Beato book, you can go to my website at www.rickbeato.com. That's all for now. Thanks for watching.